Hello my darlings, welcome to Thursday the 28th of March, and I thought I would start with getting back to who and what we have always done, which is book reviews. So today I bring you The Apple Tree and Other Stories by Daphne Du Maurier. Now this is a first edition. Oops. Starting to slide out of its mylar cover, but here we are. Isn't she beautiful? Truly stunning, absolutely gorgeous. She's tightly bound, and when she was first purchased she only cost 10 and 6. Gosh, actually you might be able to work out that there was a little price tag inside, but we won't say what it was because it's I shouldn't have known. It's a present from my husband, Christmas 2020, and it came from Adrian Harrington Rare Books, and oh how rare indeed this book is. Its publishers Victor Golanzik, 1952, genuine first edition, first run of this novel written by Daphne Du Maurier, to which subsequently all other books have been printed from it continuously. I still believe this is still in print, and if you cannot get it in a book form, I'm pretty sure you can get it either on audiobooks or on Kindle, which will be another good place to find it. Now, I'll tell you a little bit about Daphne, shall we? Shall we begin? Ooh, let's have some fun. Daphne was born on the 13th of May 1907, so a heck of a long time ago. She was born at number 24 Cumberland Terrace, Regent's Park, London. Middle of three daughters of prominent actor-manager Sir Gerald du Maurier and actress Muriel Nee Beaumont. She had the most fairy tale life, and by the time Daphne was in her early 20s, she had some of her work published in the Beaumont's Bystander magazine. A prestigious publishing house accepted her first novel when she was in her early 20s, and its publication brought her not only fame, but the attentions of a very handsome and dashing soldier, Major, later Lieutenant General Sir Frederick Browning, or as we in the military know him as Boy Browning, and the bridge too far. Look it up if you don't know the connection. She actually married Boy Browning, and they had the most wonderful life together. She continued to write under her maiden name of Du Maurier, and subsequent novels became bestsellers. The Birds, of which I have a copy. Isn't she gorgeous? Absolutely stunning, beautiful book. It was written, as I said, in 1952. This first edition hardcover has 264 pages. This was the original artwork as well, which was used for further printing of the novel. The Birds, which is in here, is the second story in this novel, and it's starting page 83 to 123, so it is a very, very short novel, but it is quite the horror. A classic example of when animals attack. Oh, and don't they do it in their droves in this one. We start off in December It's the 3rd of the month, and the wind changed overnight. And suddenly we are now in winter. The autumn had been mellow, soft. The leaves lingered on the trees. The hedgerows were still green, and the golden and red leaves were still in the trees. And the earth was rich where the plough had turned it. We meet our star of the story, Nate Hocken, who is a wartime veteran who, due to disability, had a pension and did not work full-time at Mr. Trigg's farm. He works 3 days a week on the farm, and the farmer gives him lighter jobs: hedging, thatching, repairs to farm buildings. Nate is married with 2 children. He's a solitary man and likes best to work alone. The best place he liked to work was at the far end of the peninsula, where the sea surrounded the farmland on either side. He loved to watch the birds. He's a keen bird watcher. So already we are looking at the birds and surrounding landscape as quiet, solitary. The story is already drawing you in to its suffocating silence. It's set in a Cornish village at the seaside village, sometime after the Second World War. The village is suddenly under attack. The enemy assaulting it is not only cruel, but determined. Am I making your skin crawl yet? Should be. The existential threat is represented by, have a wild guess. The birds, you got it, arriving somewhere from the east. They continue to amass around the village, their numbers increasing, and they are becoming more threatening. Nothing matters, only survival for the village folk. Nate and his wife and his life has been threatened. His beloved family has been threatened. Their lives are at stake. You can imagine how frantic this man is. Life suddenly becomes divided between the before and after. Now, Nate's chances of survival are, we hope, high, very high. He has done absolutely everything he can to shelter his family and to protect them. He has transformed the family home into a fortress. Nate is contemplating the birds, trying to discern patterns in their movements. It is going. It's pivotal. This is going to be key to their survival. People are left at this point to deal with the trouble. Our government, what's left of it, has disappeared. They have basically abandoned their citizens. They can't help us. They've gone to ground. And we are basically left in our Jack Jones. What the hell do we do now? Yeah, exactly. Now, remember I told you about a farmer called Mr. Trigg who employs Nate 3 days a week? Mr. Trigg, what a silly Billy. He doesn't believe the birds are a threat, so he dismisses Nate as a worrywart. Much to Nate's anguish, Mr. Trigg will not listen. Mr. Trigg's carelessness and idiocy are fatal. They cause many people to suffer needlessly. Silly Billy. I don't know. We'd never know why the birds are attacking people. They just are. And their motivation is a strange dive at the turning of the tide. I sometimes get the feeling that the story is a kind of a metaphor for the horrors of World War II and the air raids and the bombing of civilians, because, well, obviously you can imagine the birds are going meow. Well, weren't the bombs going meow? Exactly. The birds, we hope, under certain circumstances, may fly away, but they could return at any time. Gosh. It's a very short story. It's very fast-paced. It's absolutely terrifying, and it leaves you shaking after you've read it. Might only be a short story, but ooh, you'll be doing this when you finish reading it, I promise you. It's got a very gripping narrative with lots of philosophical overtones, and you really find yourself willing Nate and his family to survive. The very creepy nature of the birds will leave you looking at our feathered friends in quite a different light. A very disquieting story, not for the faint-hearted. It's definitely a short story worthy of a very short time to read it. Literally, it'll take you less than an hour. Oh my goodness me, that 1 hour of your life will be... You are never going to forget this. You're never going to forget this tale. Ever. Never, never, never. It's definitely in my top 100 to read before you die club. Yep, our Daphne gives you enough of a premise within the first 3 to 5 pages, just enough to give you that feeling of impending doom, and then bang, we all go to hell in a handcart. Daphne is literally the epitome of horror writing. She has such a cool hand that can write a creepy novel in such a suffocating way. I encourage you to seek out this little gem for yourselves and then just enjoy the hell out of it. Absolutely enjoy the absolute hell out of this book. Now, I've given you some very notable pages to go to. First page is number 90. The sky was hard and leaden, and the brown hills that had gleamed in the sun the day before looked dark and bare. The east wind, like a razor, stripped the trees and the leaves, crackling and dry, shivering and scattered with the wind's blast. Oh, doesn't that just give you the absolute chills of winter? Oh, so scary. Nate stubbed the earth with his boot. It was frozen hard. He had never known a change so swift and sudden. Black winter had descended in a single night. Well, if that doesn't give you the absolute chilly dillies, I don't know what will. The next one is on page 96. The Cowardice of the Home Office. Oh yes. Statement from the Home Office at 11 a.m. today. Reports from all over the country are coming in in hourly segments about the vast quantity of birds flocking above towns, villages and outlying districts, causing obstructions and damage and even attacking individuals. It is as though that the Arctic airstream at present covering the British Isles is causing birds to migrate south in immense numbers, and that intense hunger may drive these birds to attack human beings. Householders are warned to see to their windows, doors and chimneys, and to take reasonable precautions for the safety of their children. A further statement will be issued later. And that is literally all we get from the British government. Just that radio segment. After that, nada. The next page is 98. The most important question any prepper worth his salt will ever ask. How are we off for food? Asked Nate. His wife says, now Nate, whatever next? Never mind, he said. What have you got in the larder? It's shopping day tomorrow, you know that. I don't keep uncooked food hanging about. It goes off. Butcher doesn't call until the day after, but I can bring back something tomorrow when I go to the shops. Nate did not want to scare her. He thought it possible that she might not go to town tomorrow. He looked at the larder for himself, and in the cupboard where she kept her tins, they would do for a couple of days. Bread was low. What about the baker? He comes tomorrow too. He saw she had flour. If the baker did not call, she had enough to bake one loaf. We'd be better off in the old days, he said, when the women baked twice a week and had pilchers salted, and there was food for a family to last a siege if need be. I've tried the children with tinned fish, and they don't like it, she said. Well, if that doesn't give you the absolute chills, I don't know what will. I really don't. Food in a crisis, food and water, they are absolutely the most essential, most important things. If you cannot get to a shop and you need to feed your family, you better damn well make sure you've got an absolute storage tank out back. The next page is 123. Nate listened to the tearing sound of splintering wood and wondered how many million years of memory were stored in those little brains, behind the stabbing beaks, the piercing eyes, now giving them this instinct to destroy mankind. Yes, destroy mankind with all the deft precision of machines. Isn't that just gut-wrenching? He can hear them coming for his family. He knows that there is no one sending any help. The government has fallen. The United Kingdom is on its own. Every citizen for himself. It's chaos. It's chaos out there. And we're being attacked by our fine feathered friends. and there is no help coming. Well, if that doesn't give you a chill to the bone, I don't know what will. Honestly, Daphne, you are a queen, my darling. You are the queen of horror. And as I say, it's only such a short novel, but so empowering and so scary. Honestly. You're going to be hoping that Sylvester the cat eats Tweety Pie? Yeah, absolutely. So here we go. Daphne Du Maurier. I do truly hope you've enjoyed this book review. It's been a long time in the making. I haven't, as you know, felt quite up to doing a novel. However, today I thought, sometimes when you've been knocked down, you just need to get back up again and get back in the saddle and ride that pony. Happy readings, darlings, and enjoy. And if you like what I do, you can always give me a thumbs up. And if you really, really like what I do, you could always subscribe. And I do appreciate all your kind words and messages about Orca. He was my boy. He was our boy. And he will be greatly missed. And we love him now. We will love him always for the rest of our lives. He might not be here in person, but he's so here in spirit. Take care, my darlings, and happy readings and enjoy. Really do enjoy. There's lots of other good stories in here as well, which we'll review at a later date. And until that time, take care, my darlings. Bye-bye. Oh, I can't find the off switch. I don't want to leave you. No, I really don't want to leave you. I can't turn it off.